Welcome to the About Healing podcast, a place of love and understanding for all. A reminder that we are in this life together and never alone in our struggles. I'm your co-host, Sheree Buckman, medium and spiritual healer.
And I'm your other co-host, Katie Sass, intuitive energy healer. For more information on us, check out our personal websites listed in our About Healing podcast description.
Let's get our healing on.
Yeah. Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 3. We're back.
Hello.
Hey. Oh my gosh, I am loving this new energy that's coming in. It's feeling powerful. I'm noticing that a lot of my dreams, my manifestations are starting to come to fruition. Yeah, instead of having possible negative outlooks on something coming up, I change that thought and put it towards something positive. And it's happening, and I'm loving it. And then when it happens, I'm trying to give gratitude for that. So it keeps coming.
And I love that, Katie, because again, as I know from our conversations that we're always having, you have been working really hard on all this and you're having that growth and it's beautiful and being in such this amazing place that I always see you're in this amazing place.
Thank you.
But look at you changing that perspective and getting yourself to this amazing flow of energy.
Oh, and I just want to say too, if people aren't feeling it or they're going through a rough week and going through their own lessons, it's okay. This energy is here for you too. Like you said, I've been doing a lot of work and I'm on myself and I'm going to continue. Just last session, a lot of stuff was coming up for me and it really helped me shift perspectives. We're all in it. We're all going through it. And this beautiful energy is here for us all. Allow it to come when it's ready to come.
Absolutely.
And to not judge it, what we're going through.
Judge. Here we are with that judge. You were going through your stuff the last time we recorded and we talked about that and we were able to kind of really expand on the lessons in there and it brought us into the topic. And you know what? This time it's me. It's interesting because the past few days for me, it's been very different. I'm normally, and for those like Katie, I'm mostly normally in a very positive, light, happy place. It's just kind of like my norm and my constant. But once in a while, like right now, I go through these moments where I'm trying to process or I'm just feeling a little overwhelmed. The overwhelmed feeling that I'm talking about for me right now, it's not about stuff going on in my life. My lists, I've got this going on as a parent and we got to do this and this. It's not that I'm talking about. For me, it's, again, I'm feeling emotions that I don't understand. And this happens sometimes. And I know maybe some people have that too, where for some reason you're feeling anxious or you're just feeling out of sync and you don't know why. And this is kind of what's been happening to me. For 2 days, I've been going through this little funk and not really understanding what's going on. And then this morning, it kind of just all made sense because I actually took the time to work with it or to understand it and to ask and bring up the emotions so I can process. And I am working on, which is a big lesson for me in this life, is these judgments. By the way, it's the fear of judgments. I find that how much work that I have done in releasing that fear of judgments of others, because again, it's part of that. What we talked about, I think in our first episode, is like we are people pleasers. It's part of that empath part. Like we like to work with that energy. But this podcast is extremely personal for us. We are talking about our own lessons, what we do for our purposeful work for a living. This is everything. And putting this out there, it's really overwhelming. This is very new to us because we're putting so much out there for the world. It hit me this morning and understanding that that's what I'm processing, that next layer that I'm working through and releasing all of that. Here I am, though.
Yeah. Yeah, well, judgment's a big thing.
And I know other people go through this. It's kind of like a normal thing where we can be there and we're so affected and so afraid of putting ourselves out there that it stops us from growing and doing more things. Well, here's the thing too, that with these fear of judgments, now this is something I've gone through for a while. When I very, very first came out, I like to say when I came out about this part of me of what I do, that I'm a medium, I'm a spiritual healer, that I'm connecting in this very sensitive part of me, I had to go through this huge piece of releasing that fear because I was so overwhelmed by what are others going to, oh my goodness, what are others going to think?
Yes.
Is everyone going to turn away from me or be afraid of it? Or just went through this massive phase where I had to work through that. And I finally came to a place where I feel what I was going through and where I am is such a beautiful place because it is truly who I am. And once I went through that and expressed myself and truly, that was like that last piece of truly accepting me in this, like accepting myself, I have never been happier in truly my entire life. I feel
authentic, okay with yourself. Yeah, knowing that you're enough for who you are. I was thinking too around judgment when it comes to this field in this area of spirituality and what our beliefs are, what we're opening up to and our gifts in, that we do receive information and that we talk a lot about energy and shifting energy and that kind of thing. We have to remember too that everybody is growing and expanding too. So just like we are moving and evolving, so is everybody else. And we have to allow them to have grown and changed their opinions. So when you're talking about maybe what you do or just something new that you're into, being aware, because a lot of those feelings of feeling hesitation, of being your authentic self and expressing some of these things that you're doing, you have to just remind yourself again that they are growing too, that they're opening up. Allow those people to be where they're at and to let go of that judgment. It kind of ties in with letting go of expectations too, because everybody's growing. So you're going to family's house and your mother seems to always act a certain way, or this is how she is. If I tell her the story about something going on in my life, this is how she's going to respond. So you're carrying that energy in with you, right? So then you go to your home, you talk to your mom, and you're holding in this energy, and that's the energy that you're projecting out there to the universe for that universe to greet you too. So there's also some tie-ins of letting that judgment go of how that conversation is going to go and letting your mom be where she's at, because she might have had like a whole conversation with somebody that shifted her energy just 2 days ago or whatever. We're all so complex. We're all open to changing, and then the whole world is shifting and evolving. It's not just us, it's all of us. So, and we can see that. My gosh, like you can totally see it when you watch TV shows that were created in the 80s and the 90s, what things worked then that was just commonplace versus what it is now. Even though there is a long way to go for people to evolve, and that's part of the journey, we've come a long way. I know I kind of drifted off a little bit there, but really it's that judgment too. It just letting go of past expectations and letting that new energy come in.
And that's absolutely right. Because Katie, when I released that first piece of judgment and really put myself out there when I had those fears, and I like that you actually brought up expectations, because there was that expectation there too, and that fear of maybe the rejection, or we didn't know how people were going to take it. But you know what? I was so beautifully surprised about how much support and beauty there was when I released it. I had all that fear of all the things that could go wrong. You know, here I am on the extreme part. And that's what we do when we're in that place of fear. We start expecting or creating or imagining these worst case scenarios, when in reality, it's so different, because guess what? Everyone has that free will. We actually do not know how other people are going to react. Right. And because I was expressing, and those people who do know me, I mean, that truly know me, know and felt, again, that authenticity that you talked about. I was being authentic. I was down to my core. And ever since then, I have brought myself into this, I mean, truly happy, beautiful place. And so with what's happening right now and going through this next phase, for me, this is just that next phase of growth and that expansion that I'm going through. Again, you were talking about that, expanding and change, but this is like that next level that I'm going through, and that it's okay. Again, even if the people that we know that don't accept what I have to say, that is okay, because you know what? They are carrying their own things. And whether it is fear or whether we're just in completely different places this time, that is okay too. And I don't hold anything against anybody for that. And I think this conversation is important because right now we're giving the example, like I'm giving myself as an example of what I'm going through. But truthfully, this can be about anything, you know, no matter what you're going through, and you have this fear about speaking your truth and whatever it may be, no matter what level you're talking about, because you're about to speak your truth that is different. Maybe it's different than you've always been. So you're about to put that out there, but you're also talking about something that may not be. Again, Katie, I feel myself going, again, validating what you were just saying about the changes of where we're at and what's accepted socially.
Yes.
It may not be a norm, but I'm putting it out there. And this is where I'm at, no matter how different or how out there it sounds, but it's beautiful because I know what I'm going through and I know who I am on the deepest self and what I do. This is completely and truly done out of love. There is nothing scary in what we do. This is beautiful.
It is beautiful. And as I'm listening to you too, receiving messages, so much of the judgment just comes from ourselves. I'm just thinking about me personally, just the insecurities I've had throughout my life. And I've grown so much, but man, I even at this point sometimes have a hard time looking at old pictures of myself because I see that insecure human being and it's just like, oh man. But then I'm grateful for where I'm at. But yeah, just having doubted myself so much and the feelings inside that I wasn't good enough, just that people thought I wasn't smart, thought I was flaky, thought I was here and there, and it was just looking back, that's what I created, that's what I projected onto them for thinking about me. That doesn't make it the truth. That was just what was in my head. Just judging myself, but coming to a place now where I have that realization to stop. Those are old stories. You don't need to tell those old stories of what people think about you anymore. That's not true. Especially it's so crazy because even my good friends, I would think that about. And it's like, these are your friends that have been with you for decades. Why would you think that? And it's not about them. It's about me. And releasing my judgment on myself and just moving forward and feeling that sometimes uncomfortable, but pushing through it because that's who I am. And this is who I am. This is who I'm meant to be in this lifetime. And I'm moving forward with it. And it feels great. It feels awesome because this is our time coming here to be authentic and move forward. I feel like a lot of the energy in the earth has shifted for people to be authentic and be accepted. And again, there's a long way to go, but come a long way in that. We're seeing that people being able to be themselves, express themselves, and it's only going to get stronger. It's only going to move in that direction.
Absolutely. As you were talking about that, it's that classic phrase of we are our own worst enemies. When we get inside of our head, we start, again, judging ourselves and those fears and those worries. And I mean, in all aspects, like you were saying, you looked back at old pictures of yourself and you were seeing that insecure person and how you look back and it's like, whoa, I don't even know that person anymore. Or you just see and feel where you were to where you are now. But that's all part of our journey. And our past selves, or even if you're in that moment right now, you're in that insecure moment and you see yourself in that way, just know that you have to still look at that person and see the beauty in what is happening and the process that you're going through. Because for Katie, like you and for me, where we were and where we are now, we can look back and have so much more gratitude and respect for ourselves. Saying like, look where I was and look what I had to go through to get to where I am now. Are we at a place where it's perfect? No, just what I'm talking about. I went through massive phases of working through that judgment and I'm still working on layers now.
Yeah.
And this is not the end of it either. I'm still going to keep working on it because I'm still expanding and I'm still putting myself in situations that are extremely uncomfortable. I'm getting out of my comfort zone. But you know what? By doing that, and it's that definition of brave. I am being brave. I am doing what I fear. I am doing what makes me uncomfortable. But you know what? Every single time I do that, it is so scary. And you feel like you're crawling out of your skin and you don't know what to do with yourself. But once you get past that initial hump, throw yourself into it and get past that scary moment.
Yeah.
Holy cow, like Katie, what you're going through right now, like what you were saying, that you feel amazing and you're in this beautiful place, feeling this beautiful energy, because guess what? You have been going through that for yourself. With the last episode we talked about, you were going through some of that dense energy and working through your own lessons and your own stuff. And here you are now feeling amazing because you barreled through it and you were brave and you went through it. And I am just at the midst that peak of doing the scary stuff, and I'm about to get to the other side and see the pure sunshine and happiness.
Yeah, absolutely. And what I want to add to that too, because I know other things are going to come up for me. This is life. This is how it is. We get these opportunities to go deeper in growth. And I think what's really important too when that comes up is to just allow it, not judge it. When you're feeling uncomfortable, like you've been feeling this week, like I was feeling last week, you don't have to figure it all out right away. It's okay to just let that energy be there and be okay with it, and rest if you need to rest. Go outside if you need to go outside, which I always recommend going outside to reset your energy. But it's okay to be in those feelings. You don't have to wrestle with yourself to think like, what's going on with me? I got to get out of this. I got to get out of this. Like, it's give it a little bit of time to like figure it out for yourself.
Don't judge your judgments.
Yes. Don't judge your judgments. Exactly.
That's like putting that extra layer on top of what's already there.
Yeah. It's okay where you're at. It's going to move. It's going to shift. And if something's coming up for you and you're really struggling with it and you're trying really hard to figure it out, like say you're calling friends and repeatedly telling them what you're going through and just struggling, trying to figure it out. If it's not coming to you right away, and it's okay, just let it be. Go to that quiet place. And again, nature. I mean, man, no better place to hear your messages. You might want to not have your headphones on and rocking out, but shoot, sometimes messages come through then too.
Absolutely.
No judgment on that. I shouldn't even say that. Just being with yourself. Just being with yourself and asking spirit, what is going on with me? Give me the answers. Guide me to where I need to go to figure this stuff out. And then just sitting back and allowing it to come in.
Mm-hmm. And you know what? And honestly, even outside of that, if you are maybe not a person who might still feel silly or may not understand the whole talking with spirit, talking with your guides, talking with your loved ones, honestly, it's just giving yourself the time and space to process. Sometimes, like I just said, I'm in a place where I'm extremely aware and I know when my energy shifts and that something's going on. And it still took me 2 days to fully understand what I was processing and what I was doing. But I had to allow myself the time that I needed to get to that place.
Yes.
I needed to feel so many different aspects out over a period of time to understand it. And don't dwell on the amount of time it takes you to get to that place. Because whether it takes you a minute, you already know what you're going through and you're sitting in it and you're just allowing it to sit there, or you don't know what it is and it takes you a day, 2 days, a week, a month, whatever it is, there is no right time or wrong time. Allow yourself to process the way that you need it and the way that your process is and how you allow messages to come through. And I'm talking about messages, whether it is spirit helping you and your loved ones, your guides, or maybe it's just the messages for yourself. You are working through it and bringing that forward, however it may be.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I love that. I feel like that's a message that really hits home for me because without going into it, a lot of my deeper lessons that were coming up for me last week is energetic boundaries. And we'll bring that up in another episode. Mm-hmm. And this is something I know, something I've heard time and time again. And I finally just got that understanding on a deeper level last week, and it really helped shift. That's like what I was going through a lot last Thursday. And there was a part of me that was like embarrassed because I'm like, oh my gosh, why did it take me so long to figure that out? I know this stuff, And so hearing that, it doesn't matter how long it takes. And then it's going in a deeper way. So thank you for saying that, because it's like, just a reminder for me to let go of that judgment for myself of how long it takes myself to figure something out. Because that's why we're here as a community, to keep reminding each other too of these things, It's like, I know. We know when we're talking to each other sometimes. I know. But it's like, okay, now do it. Remember to do it. And that's a lot of times it's just validation. We know what we've got going on. We know what these messages are coming up for, why we're going through stuff. It's also nice to hear it sometimes, whether people are getting the messages through us, through another podcast, through the TV, through radio, whatever, wherever messages are coming in for you. We need these reminders. Just help keep us on our path, because we're all having this human experience. We need these reminders.
Absolutely. And I love what you just said, Katie, because it takes me back into also the reminder for those who are helping others, those other healers, whether you're a therapist, you're a doctor, you're a counselor, you're in this healing field, you're a mother, you're a teacher, all of these professions where not even just professions, but your role in life where you are caring for others and you're helping others. Sometimes when we're in these professions, we're even harder on ourselves or don't take as much time to work through what we are going through. And we have to do that. And again, we start holding like those judgments for ourselves, like, but I help others, I can do this and I can get through this, or I got to make sure that we help everyone else. But then you're still stuck with everything that you're working through and you don't take that time. So remember, no matter what you're going through and whatever role that you're in, you got to be kind and allow yourself to process and remove those judgments for yourself. Because guess what? You are just as human as everybody else that you are helping. It brings us back to those expectations where we hold ourselves at this higher point that just because we are helping others, that we don't remember to go in and do the work for ourselves too, bringing that balance.
Yep. And you have to do that work for yourself because you got to make sure that you're filled up and taking care of yourself so that you can help others.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I really want to talk about expectations here because I think when we talk about judgments, we should talk about expectations because to me, I feel like they're pretty linked because it's usually we're judging whatever expectations we hold for ourselves or the expectations we have for others. And that brings so much judgment there. We really have to be careful with these expectations. So I want to break it down because I think first, let's talk about the expectations we have for ourselves. The expectations are different for every person and you are making your own rules with expectations, by the way. You're making your own rules. So there is no set like guideline or rule that you have to have so much done or you have to succeed so far or you need to make so much money or you need to have so much downtime or you have to fill all of your awake time with activities and doing something and cleaning or whatever it may be.
Yeah. Well, it disrupts you from being in the flow too of things. When you put these expectations on yourself throughout your day, then you're not leaving room to create. You need that open space for new information to come in, for new possibilities to come in. Kind of reminds me some of the big tech people. I've heard stories of them really creating months off of time in their schedule to be open and create. I know that's not always everybody's option, but just showing that you've got to create that space to allow that to come in and create what's even more amazing for yourself to come in. You put these dreams out there of what you want to have happen, but how is that supposed to come in if you're holding all of these old expectations and filling all of your time?
Correct. Yeah. And it's okay for the downtime. It's okay to relax. It's okay to...
You need it.
Oh,
you have to
absolutely.
have it. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. And I really think a lot of people struggle with this. And we've seen it, by the way, you can see it in our society and the way that we've been. I think it's rocked a lot of people in these past couple of years when we have changed our entire world and everything shut down and slowed down because we had to adjust a few things. Whether you were a mother and you were used to going, because dropping the kids off, we've got practice, we've got work, we've got this, we've got that, we've got drive time, we've got this. Well, it shifted everything. And then I know a lot of people had a hard time, again, with that change because at that moment, and when all of that happened, we had to shift those expectations. We got to really kind of see where those judgments were coming from, the judgments we held for ourselves. We were so afraid of other people judging us because we weren't filling in all of this time or spending our time the way, let's put it this way. We were holding our expectations up and trying to keep up with other people that we see, or what we feel the norm is out there.
Yeah.
Well, I see this person, look, they've got 2 jobs, raising children on their own, rocking it and doing their thing because that's what you see. But you're not seeing on the other side of things that maybe this person is so exhausted, can barely keep up, not getting the quality time with their family or even with themselves. You're not seeing the burnout because you're just seeing the go, go, go where we're in the heightened state. This is what I mean by like adjusting those expectations and those judgments, because sometimes we hold those there not only for ourselves because we expect so much of ourselves, but where is that coming from? Are we holding fear that other people are going to judge us if we're not that busy or successful or productive?
Or is it in our head? Or is that what we're creating in our head? No.
Where is it coming from?
Yeah. Because who cares what they're thinking, even if they are thinking that?
Yeah. Because you know what, and that is one thing that happened for me around that time. I did see like pre-quarantine, I got to go there pre-quarantine, pre-2020, I saw myself getting busier and busier. I started feeling the time, play dates, looking at these extracurricular activities. We had school. I remember looking at that calendar right before, because I absolutely remember this calendar for the next 2 months out was full. Like filling in every weekend. There was stuff going on. We were everywhere. I mean, buying tickets to activities and going here and there. And then it went to nothing. And as we came out and as we started going back to living our life and, doing everything that we were doing before, I found that I really liked that downtime. I felt better. I did. And my kids were happier because they had more downtime and the quality time that we were spending together. And now filling in my calendar, I don't book every weekend. I am making sure that we have that downtime. My kids, well, at least this is what works for me, and everybody's different, and I'm not holding judgment there and don't care. But I just mean my kids don't, we don't do sports or activities during the school year because my children are exhausted after school. And to do that, they're already zombies as it is with just that portion. So we feel that during the summer and we do all those when we have so much downtime. And that's for us, that balance.
Yeah, so, balance. Mm-hmm. And maybe someone else's kids really need to run off energy and need that sport too. Mm-hmm. It comes back to balance and not worrying what other people are thinking. Not worrying, is that mother thinking that I'm running my kids ragged? It's your journey.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
Just because, you have this other person that is very successful and you feel that they're running all their parts of their life in this perfect balance and it's amazing. It's not always. You don't know the behind the scenes and we don't know that. And remember, their journey is different from yours. So stop putting yourself at this higher, level because you need to keep up with the Joneses when that doesn't exist. We're all on this different path and you need to create your own. So now I am hoping that when you can look back and see yourself of where you were, I mean, those really uncomfortable photos, just like Katie saw of herself, where you see that raw person who didn't know who they were or where they are, where they're going. And instead of sitting back and judging that, I'm really hoping that you can really see where you're at now. See this in a different light. Start turning that around, change your perspective in it and say, man, look at me then and look at me now. It may not be perfect. You may not be in this beautiful, perfect place yet, but man, I've taken the steps and I've come a distance and I am doing amazing. And you should. I don't care how uncomfortable that makes you feel, but dang it, give yourself some props, give yourself some positive affirmations, and you should. And it's going to be amazing. Really start watching those judgments and the fears and just know that it's okay to have those, by the way. It is okay. It's okay to have these fears. Just know that we all have these fears. It's what you do with them. Can you still be brave and do these amazing things, even though you still are full of fear, so that you can get to the other side, that bright sunshine side that I see like a cartoon. Yes, like a cartoon, sunshine and the flowers are singing and dancing. It's all of that because you know what, on the other side, it is that because you're releasing that darkness and that fear and the scary stuff because now you've barreled through that hurdle and now you're ready for the next one. Is it going to be your last? No, but you did that one. Now you're getting to the next place.
Yeah. And to reminding yourself that there is no such thing as perfection. It just doesn't exist. It's not supposed to exist. We are in every moment we are supposed to be, where we're supposed to be at. So for homework this week, I just want you to be aware when feelings come up of judgment, where is it coming from? And just asking yourself, going deeper, taking that moment to put yourself first and do the work and see what comes up for you. And remind yourself that it's just in your head and that the people that you're with, they love you, they're supporting you, and you got this.
That's right. And you know what? If you're not being supported and if they're not with you, that's okay too. Go make sure that you're surrounding yourself by those who do, the ones that are accepting your true authentic self, because that is where you're going to feel the best and the most loved. And stop putting yourself in the situations where it keeps putting you down into that super judgment part. And I feel like that's important too, as you're going through the homework and understanding that is surrounding yourself with amazing people.
Yeah.
That love you no matter what.
Yeah, absolutely. And then sometimes too, maybe these people aren't meant to be in your life anymore. And that's a whole other area, part of the journey.
And that is okay too. Yes. We go through these phases. People are in and out of our lives for reasons, seasons, or a lifetime, as they say. And there's no judgment on that either. Sometimes we evolve and we grow into a new place. And it's not always a bad thing that we have to leave people behind, because we're not doing it to hurt anybody or for that reason. Sometimes it just naturally happens. And instead of holding on to that, we just kind of let it be and let it go with love, you know, and it evolves. And if it comes back, it comes back. And if not, that's okay too.
Right. And letting them go to the people that are going to help guide them and lead them on their journey and what they need to learn. So maybe they've reached that end with us for now.
More to think about. So again, without judgment, just feel your way through. Just know that what you're feeling and what even those fears deep down, those true parts of yourself that you're so afraid to bring up and release, that people are going to love you and you will be amazing and you will be supported by those who truly understand you. And just know we get you. And no matter what your choices are, you know what? We support you. And if you're having these difficulties and if you're in that space, please email us. We'd love to hear your stories. And if we can share or help or create an episode about it, we would love to do that. So email us abouthealingpodcast@gmail.com. Until then, that's it. We'll see you next episode.
Love yourself. With much gratitude, thank you for tuning in. You can find us at Pandora, Spotify, Apple, Google Podcasts, or any of your favorite places to find podcasts.
Remember to subscribe and follow us on Facebook and Instagram. And to share any comments or if you have any questions, please email us at abouthealingpodcast@gmail.com. We'll be back in 2 weeks with another amazing episode. Until then, be kind to yourself.